we were still super close. Like I would put my leg up on a chair and he would put his leg up on mine as like a footrest. And then we kind of like, punch each other for fun. And then I kind of just saw that as like, we're really good friends because I did that with a lot of my friends. And then all of a sudden I would get like text messages at like very late at night.
Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. This is the PS series. I'm Tina.
I'm Kalina.
I'm Finola.
And I'm TJ.
And the purpose of this PS series is to have conversations about different and personal experiences throughout people's lives. And today we have our friend Payang. Woo!
Hi.
Hi.
She is also a new part of the team for this channel. So this is our way of welcoming her to you guys. So Payang, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us a fun fact or your hopes and dreams.
Okay. So my name is Payang, and like what Tina said, I'll be new, so you'll be seeing me a lot more. A fun fact, I don't do it anymore, but I'm able to like flip my eyelids over, like inside out.
Oh, I remember that.
I used to do it as a kid, like to scare people, but I stopped. And then my hopes and dreams, right now, the only one I can really think of is to be an editor for Penguin Random House in New York, and all my friends know that, so yeah.
Wow. So then I'm assuming you're an English major then?
Yep, I'm an English major and I just graduated last semester. And then my minors, they're more related to writing, like professional writing and digital writing.
So what made you decide to go into English?
I think I was always very interested in English. Like my English classes in high school, I always went kind of above and beyond, even if I didn't really know what we were talking about. But and I did, when I was looking for colleges, I kind of made it revolve around if they have English as a teaching, like what's it called? English teaching as a second language or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I narrowed it down, but then I right before my senior year of high school, I did an internship where I worked at a Montessori, and that's where you kind of teach younger kids how to like write. It's kind of like that preschool age. So I was a teacher's assistant, and maybe it was the age, but I did not like it at all. Like I was so worn out, and I only did it for like 2 hours. I did it 2 days for 2 hours, and I don't think teaching was for me. So then I started to get really scared because, college, like that's when we were going to apply for colleges, and I didn't want to do anything related to teaching. So I was like, if I can't teach, then I shouldn't be doing English. So then I went into college just going as undecided. But then my first year in college, I did a variety of what it's called what's subjects. So I did astronomy, I did geology, I did like a literature class, I did art, I did a lot of things, and I just felt most comfortable in my literature class. So I was like, okay, I know I want to do something in the English field. So that's where I started off. I just declared right before sophomore year, I declared as a English major, and then went on from there to see what kind of careers I could get. But yeah.
You really took advantage of like choosing general classes and exploring all of that.
Yeah, I really did.
That's so cool. Like, you guys have an astrology class. Like, wow.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I'm curious to hear your experience with preschoolers.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I remember, like my name, Paying, it's like 2 syllables, but sometimes people say like paying, and stuff like that. And, I was in the Montessori I was at, it was a bit further away from the city. So it was more like in a suburban area. So a lot of the students haven't really met someone with my name before, and even maybe someone who even looks like me. So it was very hard for them to understand how to say the name because I didn't have a normal name that would be easy for them to pronounce. And so they would just like come over to me and tug me instead of saying my name, and I never knew what to do. So I eventually I realized that they were learning about sports, and one of the sports they learned was ping pong. So I'm like, oh, you can just call me Miss Ping, like ping pong, and then they're like, okay. And sometimes some students would call me ping pong, but so that was fun. And during recess, I was always very tired because they had so much energy, and it was like in the middle of summer, and so I had to keep my energy up, and I always woke up at like 7 a.m. for it. But it was actually kind of fun having what's it called, relationships with the students. And one of them invited me to their birthday party, and I was like, I'm not coming. Yeah. But one of the hardest parts about it was when we actually had to do activities. Like I remember they had to cut out along the line, and one of the students didn't know which lines cut on, so I would trace with my finger, and she's like, why don't you just do it? And I didn't know how to respond, so I was like, I don't know, I just can't do it. And she was confused. But that wasn't, I was like, I don't think I could be a teacher. Like I just wanted to grab it and do it for her. But yeah, so those are the highlights and some of the lows. But yeah, overall it was
Yes.
a really good internship.
Nice. Yeah, little kids, that's why I'm like, I don't know if I can teach little kids because they still have to learn how to cut and glue and all that stuff, and that's like a lot for me. Like when I did first graders, I did that a lot. So I was like, okay, let me just do it for you. Which is bad because they're not learning if I'm doing it for them. But I can't imagine preschoolers. Oh my god.
Like, preschoolers, like they're cute, but they can be like brutally honest.
Yeah.
You kind of just like, oh, that hurt my feelings.
Mhm. And like, you know how sometimes obviously like games that they play, you kind of have to like step back a bit and let them do most of the games. So sometimes the kids would be like, you're not good at this game at all, like why are you playing with us? I'm like, and then I'm like, I am good, I just try my best. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't want to beat you in this game because I know I'm better.
I don't want to make you cry or like feel bad. What are some like moments, like very cute moments that you had with kids, if you can remember?
I know that like at my internship that I'm talking about. Um, so I was in a program that put us into this internship. So I would go on like maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then there would be another person that goes Mondays and Wednesdays. So sometimes they would, when I go back in the day that I'm supposed to, they would ask like, oh, where were you yesterday or stuff like that. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, they actually missed me. And like it's nice when they start to remember you. And those are some of the cutest moments. And sometimes when they have like a film to watch, like a little, not like a lullaby, but one of those kid shows, I'm just like sitting down like crisscross applesauce with them, and one of them would just come sit in my lap and like lay on me, and I'm like, is this allowed? Like, are they allowed to lay on me? But so it's nice when some students kind of look for you when you're not there and remember what you do with them and stuff like that, and yeah.
Just going back to your college experience, you stayed in the dorms, right? Or did you stay in an apartment? Are they different?
I did
for
both.
you
So
and
I
me?
really wanted as much experience as I can get with anything in college. So first year I did dorms, and then second year I did on campus apartments, and then the last 2 years I lived off campus.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Why was there so many, I don't know, like options, or how come you went from dorms to like
Um,
apartments to off campus apartments?
I think because the college that I chose was a bit further from home, so I wouldn't be able to get around. So that's one of the main reasons why I decided to dorm. And I was one of those people that would like go on YouTube and look up like how to set up your dorm, and like I was very excited. I did none of that, but I was very excited still. And then I I knew a few friends going to the college that I was going to, so it was just easy to kind of just choose the dorm option and be with them, because it would be hard to, because an apartment where we lived, it would be with a total of four of us, and I only knew her and one other girl that was going. So we would have a random roommate, and we didn't really want that for our first year. Um, so that's why the dorm option was best, and it just kind of made my parents a bit more comfortable knowing that I'd be living away from home, but I would be in like the safest spot I could be as an 18-year-old in a brand new city. And then as for my sophomore year, that's when I started getting more friends, and we decided that we kind of wanted to live together, and the on-campus apartment would be cheaper because we did try looking for off-campus options, but um, they were just pretty sketchy because like we're in like a college city too. So we decided, since we were still a bit younger and we're all still under 21, on-campus apartments was the best also, and that way. And at that time, quite a bit of us still didn't have our license yet. So, and it was just easier to live in the apartments because the dorms started to get too small, and yeah. And then that's when I met more friends, and we were able to find good apartments to live for the rest of my years there.
Rest of your life. Did your college like? Because I know some colleges like their first year, they have it was like a random person. So then your college allowed you guys to choose your roommates before.
Yeah,
That's
so
nice.
I don't know if they still do this, but when you choose this college as the one that you're going to attend, they give you a link to like a Facebook group to meet all the admitted first year students. And there, I know a lot of people, I didn't do it, but a lot of people would put down like they like to sleep at this time, they're like a night owl, they enjoy sports, they enjoy seeing, stuff like that. So you can get to know the people that you'll be seeing, and they might be classmates. And then from there, you can message them and see if they want to be your roommate. And then there was a deadline for housing. So for the housing, you can just put down the name and email of the person that you want to room with, or you can just click random, and then they'll just give you like a checklist of what you prefer in a roommate, and so that you get paired up with someone that you can most likely live and get along with. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know at our school, freshmen like they only stay in the freshman dorms. So then, does your school have that like freshman dorms, or like does everyone live in the same building?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
doesn't
pretty
matter.
much everyone can choose whichever they want, because I've seen like first year students in the dorm that I was in, and then I would also see like fourth year students who still want a dorm and stuff like that. And for ours, it's more of just we have one dorm that's all female, one dorm that's all male, and then the rest are co-ed by floors. So it's just like that, but it's not required to live on campus. Because I know some colleges do like, oh, you need to live on campus for 2 years. We didn't have that, and we didn't have any yeah, like how you said, what was it?
Like specific year in the
Oh yeah,
building.
we didn't
Yeah.
have any specific years either because our buildings were all pretty small. Yeah, so.
Oh, that's nice. It gives people more like freedom, I guess.
Yeah,
In that
definitely.
sense.
Well,
Nice.
you mentioned that you made a lot of friends. So were there any guys that you were interested in, or guys that were interested in you?
Let me think. It's been a long time. But I the first time I kind of like, obviously when you walk around you're like, oh, he's cute. Oh, he's cute too. Like, and then you're like, and then looking back, I thought I was cute at the time, but I looking back, I was, oh my gosh, I was not cute. But yeah, so just walking down the halls, like I thought everybody on campus was all pretty attractive. Maybe that's because they're a bit more mature. Like, you know, when people are mature, they just give off that like attractive vibe. Yeah, so and people look like they knew how to like hygiene stuff, and everybody didn't like, there was no one that smelled bad from what I remember. And then the friends that I actually kept throughout college, that was when I first went out to they were playing volleyball outdoors, and one of my upperclassmen friend I knew before, she invited us out, and there yeah, there were a couple attractive people, and I was attracted to one of them that ended up being in like we ended up being really close friends. But yeah, and then I think some people found me attractive. I don't really know if it was like oh look, oh my gosh, it's a new first year, let's go talk to her. I don't know if it was that or it was just like they actually thought I was attractive, but um yeah, there wasn't. And like the college that I went to, we were all pretty much more like just friends or like a big family because since I was new, I haven't had that relationship with them yet. So then they might have seen like interest in me or something. But after a year, we all just kind of started to have that friendship level with each other. Yeah.
So nothing happened.
No, maybe just like if we had people from our hometowns come visit us, then maybe those people there might be like a bit like a little flirting here and there. I wouldn't say like a fling or like whatever, but yeah, nothing really happened. I think it might have started off as oh, we're interested in each other. We're just two strangers who know nothing about each other and we're in that talking stage, but then you just kind of end up just becoming really good friends. So that's kind of how everything went. And yeah, I never really had a thing with anybody. But I did have a really long crush, and yeah, but that was it. Nothing happened. But yeah, that's all I remember. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So would you say like with so I know like you said that you guys are like a big family or like very close. So were there any times where you're kind of like, oh, like I wonder like signals from guys that make it seem like they are trying to be more than just friends?
Um, yeah, so I remember there was this one friend where they're kind of quiet. They were very quiet actually, and I was super super loud during my first year. I kind of calmed down a bit, but I was super loud, and we went on like a camping trip with an organization, and we ended up being on the same team, and we ended up bonding very well, like me and my team. So when we got back onto campus, we were still super close. Like I would put my leg up on a chair and he would put his leg up on mine as like a footrest. And then we kind of like, punch each other for fun. And then I kind of just saw that as like, we're really good friends because I did that with a lot of my friends. And then all of a sudden, I would get like text messages at like very late at night and it would be like very cryptic. And so I'm like, and uh in college I don't know if I should like if this is like the right description of it, but I would say I was kind of bold. So if I ever felt like someone had an interest and I knew I didn't, I'd be like, are you interested? Just tell me like that. Because I hate that like awkward tension. So and then he eventually said like, yeah, like because we're really close, I thought maybe something could happen if we talked. And I'm like, sorry, no, like stuff like that. So sometimes it does get to the point where I'm too comfortable with them, or and like it's like vice versa. Like if someone's like very comfortable with me and I haven't experienced anything like that before, like someone walking me to my dorm at night, like I've never experienced that before in my all 18 years of life. So things like that where it usually doesn't happen, then we're like, maybe like that. So that's happened a couple of times with me and like with some of my friends that I've heard about. So
Do you think you've like ever given mixed signals to guys? Like it doesn't have to be like in college, but like just in general.
hmm I I think I do, yeah, just because I hate conflict, so I never I don't think I ever really clean up what the leftover feelings are that was in our friendship. So maybe if I knew, so like this one guy, he was interested in me, but then we became really good friends, and he knew that I didn't like him, and so I was okay, we're good, but we never talked about it like ever since then. So the next year, um, we got really close because I didn't have a car and he did, and he would be really nice to help me get groceries for my apartments, and um, we had all the same hobbies. We did everything like after classes, we pretty much hung out with all our other friends almost every day. So I think his feelings might have came back, and I didn't know that. So I probably like did things where he was like, oh, like maybe she's falling for me a little bit. I don't know, but and then my friends would like our mutual friends would kind of tell me that like, hey, are you guys talking? I'm like, no, why? And then they would just say, oh, you're a bit close. Like it's like a different type of close. So then I'm like, okay, let me try not to do that. But I know sometimes I never saw it myself, but some friends that weren't in the same friend group, they would say like, "Hey, you've been flirting with him. Are you doing that on purpose?" But I never like. I'm very clueless. I'm very dumb, so I never saw it as like flirting. But looking back, I think they were a little bit of mixed signals. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I don't think I ever did something like intentionally to kind of hurt anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And if I did, I'm pretty sure I apologize. But it's been a long time since anything like that happened.
Yeah, well, it's good to have like friends that are like, hey, you guys look like you're flirting. Like, just
Mhm.
want to make sure if that's like your intention. I think it's like those kind of friends are like good to have because you're like, oh, I didn't know. It seemed like it was that way when it's not. But
Mhm.
anyway.
Definitely.
Did any guy just from the get go outright tell you that they were interested?
Hmm. I don't. Well, I had a friend like when I was a first year and I got invited to volleyball. Tried to add everybody that I could remember just so I knew people. I started to know people on campus, and then I remember I got a friend request and I was like, hold up, who is this person? And then when I went to volleyball, and he showed up, they would be like, oh, look who it is, the best volleyball player, and I'm like, why are they hyping him up? Because, like, I knew he was really good, but there are other good people too, but they didn't hype them up. And then they would like look at me and like look at him. So, what was the question?
If any guy outright from the very beginning told you that they were interested in you.
Yeah, so it was just that one guy. So I didn't remember him at all. I felt bad, but I didn't remember him. They were hyping him up, so I think he already had an interest. And then, um, like within that week, there was a party. So I went with some of my first year friends to kind of see what the nightlife was like. And then he like talked to me the whole night and like um kind of asked like who are you interested in so far, who caught your eye, and like when I said somebody else, like you could tell that sometimes it was he like had an off
He was
feeling.
like, "Oh, wasn't me." Whatever.
Yeah, and then that kind of those kind of actions kind of went on, and I would hear some things from my friends and stuff like that. Like for example, whenever we have a night out, the next day we usually go get pho or anything that is like it helps hangovers and stuff in the morning. So one of my guy friends invited me out to pho, and then my friend was like, "Oh, he said that you beat him to it or something," and I was like, "Oh, I didn't know there was like." So a guy asked me first, but the guy that was interested at the time, he was like, "Oh, why did that guy ask?" I was gonna ask like stuff like that. So that's when I knew, oh, like this guy's interested. Oh
So
boy,
he
like
didn't. So he didn't exactly come out to you and tell you, but he gave off that kind of
Feeling.
like feeling,
yeah,
emotion. Okay.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, but there are some like now, like I play a lot of sports, so I do know a lot of people within that like the sport community, and there would be a guy like we knew each other way back then, but we just recently like started getting like becoming good friends, and he would always swipe up and say like, why are you single, like you're so pretty. Let's go on a date and stuff like that. And like it just catches me off guard because I'm not used to people like being very upfront. But I think that's the only person usually. Other than that, guys are more cryptic and like like they don't call it a date. They say, hey, you wanna go watch a
hang
movie?
out? You want to go hang
Yeah.
out with me?
Yeah, that's what teacher did.
Hey, man.
Ew.
I made my intentions clear. Okay.
Ooh.
I don't think so. Anyway.
Well, 5 years later. But anyways,
Oh my
move
Yeah.
on.
You talked about like the nightlife
Oh, yeah.
college. What was like your experience with that?
Um, I still remember the very first night as if it was like yesterday. We just came back from the group of friends I was with, it was part of the Asian organization on campus. So to get all the first years used to all the upperclassmen, they had a what's it, capture the flag in the dark, like glow in the dark. We had like neon
Ooh.
lights or whatever, and so we played that. And then right after, there was a party at the party house that they knew in town, and um, I remember like I'm not gonna go. Like ever since I was young, I know that that's like something bad to do, and like it sounds very scary, and I just didn't feel comfortable. But there was an upperclassman who said that they would like stay sober, just stick with us. Like so it was me and my two other first year friends. So he said that he would stick with us the whole time to make sure nothing happens, and he would make sure that we got back to our dorm and to the party safely. So I was like, okay, I left home to experience new things. Let me just go and see what it's like, so that I would stop. Because I was very like judgmental over things that I heard was like bad influences and stuff like that. So I was okay. I don't really want to be like that anymore. Like there's so many new and different people in college, so let me just have a fresh start. So I went, and I remember I was so scared to even go in the house because I could hear the music, I could see the lights, and I was like, this is not my vibe. Like get me out of here. But then they like kind of got me in there, and it was a very different world. I remember but I realized that everybody there, we were all just friends, and like looking back, I know everybody, like everybody that attended. Now we're all friends. So like it wasn't, if there were new people, they were friends with the people that I was friends with. So I knew that they weren't anybody bad or looking like having bad intentions. So my view of like the nightlife kind of changed, and we always like looked out for each other. And if I didn't want, like if somebody didn't want to like take a drink or anything like that, everybody like respected each other and said, oh, it's okay, but if you do, you know where to find me, like that. So yeah, I don't really go out anymore because that part of my life is done. But it was a good experience, and I remember telling some of our close friends like yeah, like our group, and kind of because I felt guilty. I really felt guilty about drinking and stuff like that. But when I told them about it, they were very nice about it. They didn't judge me in the way I thought they would. And one of them kind of just said, as long as you don't use it for comfort, like how some people do. And so ever since then, whenever I drink with friends or just had a chill night, it was always when I was in a good mood. And if I wasn't, like if I was mad or super sad, I wouldn't go out, or I would just say no to everything. And everybody respected that. And I think that was something very good um, that happened out of me trying new things, is that I had friends who looked out for me and they respected me, and I was able to respect myself and my relationship with everybody, and being more comfortable doing and experiencing new things. Yeah.
That's good. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I
What
think
did
like one thing that I think about is like always like being aware of like the people that you're with, and like I don't know, because like for me personally, I wouldn't, with strangers especially, I'm like things might happen if I was like we're with strangers. But yeah, for sure, like it's a good thing that like you already had a group of friends who like already knew each other, and so then you guys looked out for each other, and it's just like that like respect for each other, and like what you said, like for yourself, and like knowing your limits, which I think some people sometimes might overthink it. Like, oh, I can do this, I'm strong, and
Yeah,
go
I
for it,
remember.
and you're knocked out.
Yeah, I remember. I definitely had a few of those moments. Like, I don't feel anything. Give me more. Give me more. But that was when I was like very new to everything, and I just wanted to like let loose. And I remember there was a point where in my first year where I was like, okay, I'm like going crazy. I'm literally a crazy girl that just wants to drink. But the upperclassman that always took care of me, I like apologized to him, and he like was like, why are you apologizing? You're just having fun. And I'm like, well, you have to um take care of me, drive me home. Sometimes I had to sleep over because I just could not, because our campus was a dry campus. So if you end up intoxicated on campus, you're gonna get like written up. So sometimes I would sleep over with my friends, and I always felt bad about that. And he told me that I shouldn't, because when he was young, when he was my age, he was the exact same way, and upperclassmen took care of him. So now he's just kind of like returning the favor. So that's why, like, when I grew older, I kind of decided like, okay, my time of fun is kind of done and over with. So then I would stop drinking less and kind of just look out for the younger friends that I had, so that they could have their fun while they're still young. So I think that's kind of like and I told them that too. I told them the same experience I had and the same story of why I don't go too hard whenever we drink, just so that at least there's a few people that can take care of the ones that want to drink a little bit more. So I think just having that shared, what is it, like thought was pretty good. And I wish that I wouldn't get so like, I'm very short tempered, so sometimes I was upset sometimes with my friends, but other than that, everything was, I have good memories. So
I remember you mentioned about sports, and then we know that like you play football
Wait.
too.
Before we move on, I want to know, quick question. What happens during the quote unquote nightlives in those house parties? Like, do you guys just stand there and drink and talk, or like, is there dancing? Like, what do you do?
okay, so because I don't know about anybody else's, because each party house has like their own vibe depending on the people. But what I remember is, for us, we would have like the living room where people just kind of just sit around, and like if you're like, if it's like too hot, people just sit there to cool down, whatever. And like, some people, they're just not the dancing type, and they just like to just like, observe. So that, like, the living room area was mainly for people that like to observe, and downstairs we had like beer pong and stuff like that. And it was much colder downstairs, so a lot of people just go down and cool down there. And it was quieter downstairs, so if you actually wanted to have like conversations with people, that's where they went. And then past the living room was the kind of like a dining area, and so that's where people dance. That's where the stereo and like the lasers were, and sometimes they would have like a smoke machine just to add effect.
Wow.
So people would just like, I wouldn't really call it dancing, but more just like fist pumping and just jumping around, because the music that we listened to was mainly EDM. So that's a lot of like fist pumping. It's not really like grinding or anything. Like, I remember middle school, a lot of people grinded and stuff like that and twerk, but our music is more just like bopping to the music and stuff like that. And then there's a kitchen if you need water, like if people are like gonna pass out. And then out in the back, um, we try not to let a lot of people out there, but if you really need like fresh air, because the house, like, we don't open the windows so that we don't get like the cops called on us, since the music is very loud. So out in the back, people just kind of like get a like breath of fresh air and stuff like that. But that's what our house, like, our parties were like. But after my freshman sophomore year, it like died down, so then we just kind of did more chill hangouts where you and a couple close friends, like, we would play volleyball, and after volleyball we would just chill at someone's apartment or anything like that, and we just have like a fun night, like either singing to the music or playing card games and just drinking throughout the night. So over the years, the nightlife kind of got a bit more calm, and it was like less people. But yeah, it wasn't. I've never really seen anything crazy happen. But we did. The only crazy things that did happen were if we had like cabin parties, like way out, and that's where we had more strangers there. So yeah.
Mm. Okay. All right, you can go, Finola. I was curious.
So, okay, this might be like a more personal question, so Tina can cut this out. But I was like wondering, like, did you ever go to like the nightclubs? Yeah. And if you don't want this to be shared, Tina can just cut it out.
Because I wasn't too bad. Okay, so back in the college city that I was in, there were a few clubs. But I never went to them until I think my junior year or the beginning of my senior year, because clubs just aren't my thing. Like I wasn't really much of a dancer. I was more like, let's go play games. I want to play beer pong. I just want to be active. I don't want to like dance and get all sweaty when you're gonna be there the whole night with people. But after an event, I wanted to catch up with some of my other friends, and they invited me out to a bar, and that one was one of the most popular ones that I would hear about. But when I went, it was a really big space, and you know when there's a big space and not a lot of people, it's kind of awkward. So it was awkward for a couple hours until people started coming in, and then they're like, uh, we just had drinks, and all I did was just sip and like go like that because there wasn't much that I wanted to do, and the music it wasn't my type of music, so I didn't know any of the music that was playing either because I don't listen to the radio, or um I don't know any of the new songs that come out. So I was just like, I don't know how to like move to this song. So I would just be like, you guys come pick me up. I want to go home, like stuff like that. But I remember there were other bars that were a bit more compact and a little bit more diverse. So that one was fun because I was like, okay, I know the music. Like I like dancing to these musics, and when I felt comfortable with the music, then that's when I had like a lot of fun. And you know, you just kind of start dancing with like strangers that are dancing there. You don't just stick with your group, because my group, they were not dancing, but another group was. So I was like, you know what, let me just go dance with them. Um, but yeah, so that's all I remember. Like we weren't, my friends and I, we weren't the clubbing type. We just liked to do our own thing at home, and since we're all really good friends, we just drink the whole night and then just sleep over, because that's just kind of what we've been doing since we're when we first started college. So yeah, clubs weren't, I don't know, not too big in my friend group.
Yeah. Wow. But before you said that you were into sports. So like what got you into like volleyball and football and maybe any other sports that you did?
So I think the earliest memory I have of playing a sport was badminton in middle school, just because that didn't take a lot of energy, and you could play by yourself like as a singles player, or you could have a partner with you if you don't want to play alone. And the friends that I had, they all joined badminton, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna join too, because I might as well do something and stay active. And I eventually ended up really liking it. But then going to high school, I ended up transferring, so I didn't get to play badminton for like my last year. So then I kind of just stopped playing badminton. But I did have a few friends, because I was a TA for one of the female gym teachers, and one of her students actually knew me through her siblings, and she was like, "Hey, I'm gonna start like a flag football team. Like, did you want to join?" And I was like, "Sure, flag football." Like, I throw the football around to play with my brothers and stuff like that. So that's when I started getting like, okay, football's fun. And one of our badminton players, she joined the football team too. And then after the football team didn't really go anywhere, that girl, she had older sisters that actually played for like an actual flag football team in the Hmong Women's League that we have. So then she did invite us to go, but I was too committed to a summer program, like Trio Upper Brown. I was way too committed with them, so I couldn't spend any time to go practice. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna join football. But then once college hit, Trio ended for me. So during the summer, like we end school in May and start in August. I was like, what am I gonna do the whole summer? Because usually I spend the summer with Trio. And so I was like, okay, maybe I should take up her offer and start playing football. So I started playing football and I really liked it. And then we were never, it's not that we weren't allowed, but we weren't recommended to play other sports in case we got injured. We wouldn't be able to play in our games. So I just tried to stay away from volleyball, even though I had a lot of friends who were into volleyball. And then in college, that's all people did, like after class. And if the weather was nice, go sit out volleyball outdoors every single day. And then on weekends, we play indoors at the gym at 9 p.m. until like midnight. And it was crazy. Like I played so much. And then I was very into intramurals. So I remember for intramurals, I did dodgeball and I did co-ed soccer and volleyball. So there was a lot. And so because for me, when I went to college, I was like, I don't want to just have memories of studying. I want to be able to look back and enjoy everything I did and making the most out of what the college provided. So I joined a lot of orgs, joined a lot of intramurals. And so that's how I really got into sports. And obviously, when you play more, you start to get better at the sport. So then my friends would invite me whenever it was the summer. They would invite me to play with their friends who I don't know, and that's how I made a bit more friends. And sometimes they would pick me up to go play in tournaments if they needed like an extra player. So I don't make my own team. I just whoever wants me to play, I'll just go and play with them. So that's how I started in all the sports that I've joined.
That's pretty cool. Like I remember my freshman year, freshman and sophomore years, I there was a lot of like after nights, after classes, volleyball just for fun. But like after that, junior, I just can't like I had to had time to like study, and which really sucked for me because like I really wanted to spend time with like the younger classmates and hang out with them, but then like junior, senior was just like very tough. And I didn't get to do that. And like I was like, oh, you guys are playing volleyball, that's cool. Like I'll come maybe if I have time. And I probably like, only went like once, like a month or something. I don't know. But it wasn't very often. But I kind of wish I stuck to it so that one, I can be like athletic a little bit and exercise that way. And like, yeah, still have the skills for it. But yeah, lost it all now because I just stopped. I couldn't do it. I tried. But that's pretty cool that like you played multiple sports. How did your like parents feel? Because I know like for some people like parents like for football, like football especially, like it's too dangerous, like women shouldn't play it. Like how did your parents feel about that?
I remember the first time I came back home after being dropped off in college, they're like, oh my gosh, you lost weight. How did you lose weight? Aren't you supposed to be gaining like freshman 15? And I was just like, I don't know. I've just been playing a lot of sports. And they're like, you should keep playing. So,
That's
so that's like one thing that they were like, okay, whatever, she can keep playing. And when I joined football, I think it was, they were kind of like, football, like, why football? And I was like, I don't know, my friends play. And hey, now, because we always went to, the big tournament, which is like during July 4th. We always went to it anyway, so might as well have like another reason to go. And it kind of just kept me off the couch because if I didn't have practice, I would just like be laying on the couch. So they're like, okay, at least she's doing something. And I'm not a type like when I'm at home, I do not want to go out. Like I sometimes I don't even text people back. Like I just want to stay home, be in my own little personal bubble. and it gets to the point where my parents like, you need to go outside. Like you haven't been outside in like 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, okay. So they kind of were like, okay, let's let her go and see how it goes. And although I was the defensive line, so I was more of the physical positions, and I would come home with like bruises and scratches because I bruise very easy. And they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't feel them at all," and stuff like
Oh my
that.
gosh.
And they're just like, "Okay, if you can do it," and I'm like, "Yeah, I can do it." And sometimes they kind of like use it to their advantage. So, for example, if we need to like shovel snow in the winter or something, like, you're a football player, you should go shovel snow by yourself because you're strong, right? You're strong. So they would like use it against me, and sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna quit football if you keep saying that. And then yeah, so we just kind of joke around about it. But now that because this past year would have been my, I think, 4th year playing football, um I've started to get a little bit more kind of like sick. Like I get very exhausted, and I get migraines very easily now. So if you're, you're out in the sun all day, even though no matter how much I stay hydrated and stay under some shade, I always come home like super nauseous, and I can never, whenever I come home from a tournament, I had to sleep right away or else I'm gonna like throw up. So it's to the point where my mom is kind of like, maybe you should kind of take a step back a bit and kind of take care of yourself before you should go out. Maybe just don't go to practice as much. Like if I don't feel good, sometimes I still do go to practice because I don't want to miss a day because I know I need to practice. But my mom's been like talking to me about kind of taking care of myself a bit more because I do have like asthma and stuff like that, which does hold me back. And um, if I have a headache, I can't take any Advil or anything because that I don't know what it is, but like I can't breathe when I take Advil. So if I take Advil and I play sports, then I'm gonna be dead. So
Oh my
so
gosh.
my mom's just kind of like, you need to start choosing how much you can take now, because back then I could do whatever, I was fine, but now I think my body's kind of taking a toll from all the sports. So yeah, they were fine with it. And like since I started, my sister started playing with me, and then now my youngest brother is doing football at his school. So, and we were always like an athletic family. And my sister and brother, they did wrestling once, and they played tennis, and um, they also did swimming. So yeah, we're just very active, and we're active as kids, so they never really had like a problem with it.
Okay, everybody, that is all the time we have for now. Thank you for watching our video. If you enjoyed our video, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to follow us on our Instagram and Facebook account linked in the description box below. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.